Now we'll discuss something related to the rectifier. So rectifier, R-E-C-T-I, rectifier, rectifier. So what is mean by rectifier? What it is rectifying? Rectification means what? It's correcting. So what it is correcting? So basically, the rectifier is something like this. We know there are two type of supplies called AC and DC. So the basic difference alternating current and direct current is, now see, if the signal, say this is a zero axis, if the signal is varying from positive to negative and negative to positive and go on, then this type of signal is called alternating current signal. So it may be of shape of anything, it may be of shape of anything which is having positive as well as negative. If the shape either comprises in this quadrant or in this quadrant, only one quadrant is said to be DC current signal. Like, so it's need not to be something like this, it may be something like this, it may be something like this, it may be like this. So and that means in with respect to the time, either it is completely positive or negative but not both, then this type of signal is called direct current signal. So but here what we are actually discussing is rectification. Means what? We want to convert the alternating current signal into a direct current signal, maybe like this or maybe like this, anyway. So this type of different mechanism that we want to produce. For this there are various approaches that we can go ahead. So one of the approach is one of the approach is using a rectifier. So rectifier is a device which is used to convert alternating current to a direct current. Okay, rectifier is a device which is used to convert alternating current to a direct current. So now let us take a simple example about a single phase half wave rectifier. Generally, this single phase half wave rectifier we will not use in the industry, but for the sake of understanding and for the sake of clarity, I am just discussing this point here. So in this single phase half wave rectifier, so initially what I am taking is, I am assuming I am having a alternating power supply which is having the phase and neutral. Okay, in this alternating power supply I am keeping a diode, and then I am keeping a certain amount of resistive load, diode with resistive load. Then what is happening, let us see. So for now let us assume that the voltage drop across the diode is approximately equal to 0, but while we do the simulation we can even consider that. And this is the load resistance R, and the voltage drop across this is V naught, and the arrow's direction is something like this. So this is, now how this will is going to operate, let us see that. So now let us take a voltmeter here. Okay, let us take a voltmeter here, and even we will take one more voltmeter also here. And to measure the current, what we do, we'll take a ammeter here and we'll observe how the, say this is a Vs, this is a V naught, this is a I. Now we'll observe how the voltage and current waveforms looks like. So firstly, let us take axis. In this axis, so this is the time axis, the time with respect to the seconds or milliseconds, whatever you take. This is, I am taking as a supply voltage, that in volts. So since it is alternating current, it will be moving up and down, something like this. So it will be going on. Now, so this is positive portion, understand and see that is carefully. This is positive portion and this is negative portion. Now when, so this I am giving as a state of 1 dash and 2 dash. When 1 dash is applied across the diode, so this is appeared across the positive supply. So positive supply is given to the diode. So the diode starts conducting. So the diode starts conducting, current starts flowing, the output voltage will follow the same. So the diode, so assuming the diode drop is 0, we will see same amount of voltage that will be there till this point. Till this point, the same amount of shape, whatever the shape that we give, the same shape you observed as a V naught. So of course the current I naught also, that is V naught by R value, that will come into picture. Either it may be high or low, but the shape is same. I mean same, similar shape. Whenever it reaches to this point, say called pi, whenever it reaches the value pi, it is negative. When this negative is seen, that is 2 dash is seen here, and negative voltage obviously applied across this positive p type, and hence the diode will not conduct and there won't be any conduction in this area. There won't be any conduction in this area. So if I assume this is 0, this is pi degrees, this is 2 pi, and this is 3 pi, and this is 4 pi, and so on. So the output also 0, pi, 2 pi, 3 pi. So here the cycle will repeat and it will go on like this. So the cycle is repeating. So we can consider the output voltage by considering the area under the curve. So this curve is looking like a sinusoid. So for any area, for that fact to say, using integration you can find any area under the curve. So now we'll slightly do that. Okay. Now what we do, the supply voltage Vs is equal to Vm sine of omega t. Vs is equal to Vm sine of omega t. You can take cos also, whatever, because I started from 0. So sine 0 is 0, sine 90 is high, sine 180 is 0. So that's why I have taken. Now I need to find out what is the voltage of V naught. So basically, since we are using resistive load, we can easily find out the value of V naught. V naught is equal to 1 by 2 pi integral 0 to 2 pi Vm sine of omega t d omega t. Okay, so this is, we want to see entire area and we'll split into parts. So in the entire area of 2 pi, the area from 0 to pi is similar as sine Vm sine of omega t d omega t. But from the area this to this, pi to 2 pi, it is completely 0. Okay, when it is completely 0, so I will take only this thing, 1 by 2 pi. So Vm I will take outside. Integral sine theta minus cos theta minus cos of omega t over the limits of 0 to pi. So now you take this one, Vm by 2 pi minus cos pi, substitute the limits here, okay, cos pi minus cos 0. Okay, now what do you do? Vm by 2 pi minus cos pi is minus 1, cos 0 is 1. So minus 1 minus 1 minus 2 into 2 plus 2. These two cancel. So the average voltage, this is I have taken for a whole area, that is also average, okay. The average voltage that appears across the resistance is Vm by pi. Now, we don't want to find, basically we are interested to find out the RMS value. RMS value is the one which is more important to us, right? So let us see the RMS value here. So RMS value. Why RMS value? That is root mean square value. So it will show the heating effect. The effect of heating when you give AC as well as DC, it will show the same heating effect. That is why the RMS root mean square value is more important. Like, so I'll just put it here. Vrms is equal to Vrms square is equal to 1 by 2 pi integral 0 to 2 pi Vm square sine square omega t d omega t into picture. So you have to be very careful. So this will be 1 by 2 pi. So integral 0 to pi Vm square sine square omega t d omega t plus pi to 2 pi. This will be 0. Now 1 by 2 pi. So Vm square take as a common 1 minus cos 2 omega t by 2. This is the thing. So it is again integral 0 to pi. So now if I integrate this Vm square, that is 1 by 2 into t minus sine 2 omega 2 by 2 into 2, 4 over the limits of 0 to pi. Again, if you substitute the limits, this will, so taking this as same as it is, 1 by 2 pi minus sine of 2 pi by 4, this thing minus 0 minus 0. So this go. So this pi goes, 2 into 2, 4 becomes. So if I take the root, then Vrms is equal to Vm by 2. So this is Vm by pi, this is Vm by 2. So this is how you will get RMS value and the average value. So here we need to understand something that is related to this RMS value and average value. So so let us, as a summary, what we took is the average value of current is voltage is equal to Vm by pi, and the RMS value is, say, RMS value is Vm by 2. So some important power quality parameters that you have to consider here. So what is this important power quality current parameters is, from this average value of voltage, if I take average value of current, that is V0 by R, that is equal to Vm by pi R. In the similar fashion, the RMS value of current is IRMS is equal to Vrms divided by R. Vrms is how much? Vm by 2 into R. Now, the another important parameter is what is the peak value of the current? What is the peak value? So how much peak that is going? What's the maximum value? So maximum value is obviously that is Vm by R. That is the maximum value of the current that will goes. Now we need to see the peak inverse voltage of the diode. Peak inverse voltage of the diode. So what is meant by peak inverse voltage is, you see the carefully here in this point. I just erase this for our understanding. In this particular point, in this one, okay, when the positive waveform of the voltage is given to the diode point, fine. But when the negative waveform is given to the diode point, so it sees a voltage of negative. So what is that negative? That is this much amount of negative that we'll see. So that peak inverse voltage is, this is the very important point in designing the circuits basically. So that is the voltage that appears across the diode during its blocking state. So from here we can see that the maximum voltage, that is the peak voltage, we need to find out the Vm, how much. So from the RMS value, what is the RMS value that we got? Vrms is equal to, how much we got? Vrms is equal to how much? Vrms is equal to Vm by 2. Vm by 2. So the peak value that we'll see is Vm is equal to 2 times of RMS value. So we have to be very careful, and we have to give this much amount of at least the reverse blocking voltage of the diode. We have to give this much. Otherwise, this will otherwise the diode will fail. Now, what is the power that is delivered to the load? So the power that is delivered to the load, power delivered to load, how much amount of power? So generally we also measure the power in terms of RMS value, Vrms into Irms. So Vrms into Irms, if you take, so Vrms is how much? Vm by 2. Irms is how much? Irms equal to Vm by 2 into R. That is equal to how much? Vm square by 4R. So Vm square by 4R. So that we can see this is the amount of the power that is delivered to the load. Now another important parameters, that is input power factor. Input power factor. You may think where the power factor is coming into picture here. So I am talking about input power factor. That means input side of this waveform. What is the power factor that is observing here? You know the definition of power factor. So power factor is the amount of power delivered to the load, the amount of power delivered to the load to the V into A. So what is the amount of power that is delivered to the load? The RMS value into Vrms into Irms. And what is the power that is given? Vs supply voltage into Irms. Now this Irms, Vrms cancel. This will become Vrms is equal to Vs. Okay. Now Vrms is equal to Vrms divided by Vs. you already even know that. I mean, like for example, if you take um, the what is the RMS value of the sinusoidal waveform? Vrms is equal to Vm by root 2. I'm just talking about a pure sinusoidal waveform. Okay, so now if I substitute this value, substitute this RMS value for input value and the RMS value for this value. So this half wave rectifier RMS value is Vm by 2, and RMS value of the full sinusoidal signal is Vm by root 2. So this will become root 2 by 2. So how do I do? Root 2 divided by root 2 into root 2. This cancels. 1 by 1.414, that will call 0.707. So what is the important conclusion that you are drawing out from here? So even though you are not doing anything there, you are just doing some sort of only rectification. So when you are keeping this power electronic device into the AC circuit, the power factor seen at the input side is completely distorted, and hence it is very be careful. The power electronic device basically will detroits the main power supply. So and hence we have to be very careful while deploying the power electronic device. Our main supply should not be spoiled. Okay, now all these things let us see using our simulations. In the simulation, again you consider the power GUI first, because we want to discretize that. So you just take power GUI, and it should be discrete. So let me take into discrete, and that too I want to take in terms of 9. So okay, now you take AC power source, AC power. So if we are not getting in the help directly, what we do, we can directly go to the Simulink block and we'll procure the AC voltage source, and this is the AC voltage source that we have procured, and this AC voltage source will give 100 volts, and let's give, say for example, 50 hertz as per our Indian conditions, and sample time is 0, and I'm taking OK. And in this AC power supply I want to give a diode. So this is the diode, and for this diode again the input resistance is very low, and forward voltage drop, let us assume that 0 for ideal case. Okay, and snubber resistance is 500 e to power of 9, extremely high. Let us take, and we will not show any measurement port there. And what we take is, we'll take even again the switch also, like a breaker will take, just to visualize how the things are happening. So this breaker will, let us internally close it at a time of let us internally close it at a time of 0.001, and it has a breaker resistance is very less, and series snubber resistance is very high. We'll keep and we'll OK it. So we have used the breaker, and then we have used a diode, and then we will use a resistance. Okay, so RLC. Okay, so now we'll turn it, control R you put to turn that, and double click it. So we want only the resistance. Let us take only 1 ohm resistance, and we want to measure the both voltage and current, right? So let us take voltage measurement. So this voltage measurement let us take across the across the resistance, and let us connect these two terminals, and the current measurement also we want. Current measurement also we want. So we want to see how the current is there, and we want to see how these things are happening. At the same time, I also wanted to see how the AC waveform looks like and how my output is coming back. So like again I'll take voltage measurement. So I'll just keep voltage measurement here. So let me put this way. Okay, so this one, these three, I'll give these three to a mux because I want to signal those three, and since it is having three inputs, so let me little drag it to make sure that what is what. So first signal is given here, the second signal is given here, and third signal is given here, and all these things will give it to a scope. So let us not give to a floating scope, we'll give it to a normal scope, and then this scope, let us beautification this scope, let us beautify this scope. So let us take the colors like our liked colors of these things, figure color white and white and black, apply, and the lines is okay. Okay, so I'll just make it okay. Now I'll little bit drag this and let us see what is happening, and the time let us take as okay, 0.2 times is fine, time is okay. Let us see how the things are happening. Okay, let us start. Okay, let us stop and just check what is happening here. So observe carefully, observe very carefully. So we have almost switched on here, so it is from here the path is taking place. Okay, so you observe here we have switched on at this particular point, and so this is the blue line is the input voltage. Okay, input voltage, and we have switched on here, and from here the output voltage is coming. The yellow line is the output voltage. In the similar way the current is also coming. So for us to visualize current properly, let us take this current resistance as 10 ohms, so that we'll see these three waveforms in a different fashion. Wow, nice. See, and observe carefully how things are happening. See, I mean, even the breaker is on here, the current started moving from here, and since the voltage till this point is there, that much amount of current is there. So the blue line that you are observing is the supply voltage. It is having both positive as well as negative. So I mean, if you see carefully, this yellow line and the blue line both are coincides almost with each other, and then the small red line that you are able to see, that is the current. Okay, so that current is that what we have asked for, the RMS value of the current. So now if you see, if you take this average value and output value, and whatever we have discussed, it results in the same. So this is how you can simply design your basic rectifier circuit, and then you can cross check with your theory part.